terms of location, they're like Langkawi could possibly be someplace that's about to like explode there, and then possibly even the Felda settlement.
Oh, well, that exploded a long time ago. Yeah, because of the problem with drug use there. And Langkawi also, because of the fishing community. And that, I mean, that also exploded a long time ago because we have the same situation in Langkawi as we do in Kota Baru with lots of single mothers. So therefore, the epidemic there is, I think, quite mature already because, you know, men have died leaving single wives. If you talk to the nurses at Langkawi Hospital, they form like a bit like Prihatin in Kota Baru, looking after single mothers.
But then it's also drug usage rather than...
Mainly. Plus or minus sex work. Yeah, I mean, we do the best we can in terms of trying to put in sort of prevention programs there, but it's yeah, you're right, it's patchy. You know, we go and...
At best, right?
At best.
Yeah. It's like, oh, come for that sweet.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, when it comes to sex workers, there's also the problem of them being reluctant to carry condoms because they could be...
Sorry?
Because they could be...
Done for soliciting.
Yeah, it could be evidence, right? So,
the problem of sex work is huge. I mean, you know, we haven't even begun to deal with the traditional street/brothel sex work, which in a way is easier to deal with than, say, what do you do about all those that hang out in hotels who don't even perceive themselves as sex workers, you know? The high end, the ones that come in and going, you know, I mean, how do you reach them? How do you even, you know, count them as sex workers?
This is why I think we really need to emphasize that it's an acquired infection, and it's acquired through action, you know, through unsafe action. So that people who like you know, if they don't see themselves as sex workers, but they are doing this anyway, you know, that they are at risk.
Yeah. So, yeah, individuals have to internalize their risks, you know, whether they're sex workers or clients of sex workers or otherwise.
It's not even like calling or not calling themselves sex workers. It's the act itself. And they just don't seem to understand that, oh, if I'm not a sex worker, but I'm practicing sex.
Yeah, exactly. And well, just because my client stays in a 5-star hotel doesn't make him any less risky than one who stays in a 3-star or you know.
Chalk it.
Yeah, you know, it really is, what has he been up to? And so we need to tell them to promote safe sex.
I mean, it doesn't make sense, like, it's like they're missing the bigger picture. Doesn't it make you fed up? I mean, the two of you all have been like...
Well, this is the thing. We don't look at the big picture. We're looking at the tiny little bits and thinking that, you know, it does something to the big picture.
It's sort of a tick-the-box kind of mentality, like, you know, okay, we have to do this, tick the box. But as you say, you know, does it solve the bigger problem? It doesn't, you know. It doesn't solve the big problem of drug use. It doesn't solve the big problem of trafficking. It doesn't solve all of these rates, you know. All it does is make someone happy that they've done the rate for this month, you know. Quota. You know, it's like, right, okay, yeah.
Because sometimes you do feel like this is really not going anywhere, and then you have to step back and, you know, think of something else for a while.
And, you know, every little battle won is worth it, so you just keep going.
How can you give up? You know, when you see people who get infected all the time, people dying, you know.
That's it, you know,
That's it,
go to
you know, I
clinic.
mean, you can't sort of say, okay, I'll give up on this, and what? And let more people get infected? You can't, you know. I mean, this is the thing about AIDS, I think you never get out of it.
And I also constantly remind myself that I'm only one person, there's only so much I can do, you know, and I'm not going to be able to change the entire world, you know, so what little bit you can do.
I think most people in Malaysia now who want to get involved in
I think so.
prevention awareness.
Yeah, I think so. I think there are a few more champions, Look at Datuk Zaman.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's like more and more champion. So.
Have you ever interviewed him?
I've attended some of his press conferences, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, this
Yeah,
guy is
he's
like,
great.
It's like a total change.
Oh, yeah.
Totally,
I mean, I used to have fights with him.
Yeah.
You know, they say nobody gets infected in prisons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
right.
You know, but he's wonderful. I mean, you know, when I talk to overseas colleagues about who he was and what he used to do and what he is now, they go like, oh my God, you know, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Pardon?
It's such a change around.
Totally, and like, I mean, like this raid that we're gonna have. So I said, Dato, can you please help us sort it out? And he's calling a meeting. Yes, I don't know how we found out about it, but anyway, so he's you know, he's called for a meeting with people from PT and MAC and strategize on how to deal with it. So he's great. I mean, he's wonderful. But not enough. There's not enough of people like him. Yeah, at his stature, you know. Yeah.
So you took over in 2006, right? 2 years later.
Yeah.
How has it been so far? No, really.
No. I think it's.
I knew what I was doing. I don't know whether she did when I handed over.
You know, it's been a big challenge, of course. I wasn't expecting anything less. The early parts, I think, was very rocky. You know, with lots of people leaving the council, and we were kind of, what are we doing, kind of thing. But I think now it's much more stable. We're clear in what we want to do, and there's much better teamwork. There's much better teamwork between MAC Secretariat and the POs and all of that. So, yeah.
The thing is, I mean, how do you divide your time? Because when I initially interviewed you about that, then you were like, yeah, what am I, you know, which hat to wear, kind of thing. So how have you managed to divide your time between the clinic, your work, and all the other stuff?
With a BlackBerry and a good support system, a very understanding husband, good secretary, his secretary and my secretary,
Really?
to sort out our lives. You know, cooks and drivers and all that. So I'm very lucky in having that kind of support. And of course, the doctors in the hospital, you know, take up the slack when, like, I have to come here, for instance, you know, and finish up the ward round. So a good, you know, members of the clinical team and MAC now, as I said, you know, we've got a good ED who now I don't have to worry about the day-to-day management anymore. So.
But is MAC really massively restructuring or?
Expanding and restructuring, yeah. We kind of trying to work in a thematic manner, sort of, you know, trying to build people who specialize in certain areas. So we haven't quite got there, but at least that's the direction we are taking.
What about you? 2 years on.
What about?
You're still. I mean, you're
She's still doing a lot of HIV work, what?
You're still as involved.
She just garnered $1 million for us for the gala.
Really, a
No.
million?
Like here, I mean here, all I do really is the fundraising for the gala. Share that one. And that's really because we had this sort of obligations with our sponsors and all that. But I don't do much here.
Yes, in
Malaysia.
And in Malaysia, I don't do much. I mean, I get called occasionally to give talk here and there. But mostly I've been helping out with the ICAPs, helping to organize the last ICAP in Colombo, and helping with the next one in Bali. And I'm part of this APLF, the Asia Pacific Leadership Forum on HIV/AIDS, which is meant to do advocacy work on leadership, political leadership particularly, trying to get people to move forward in their response in different countries around Asia.
Is this the one that's based in Bangkok?
Yeah, the
UNAIDS,
the one that-
RST.
yeah,
Africa
it's
is involved in.
Who?
Africa,
No, Africa's not on APLF.
She did the
Africa's something
AIDS
else.
Commission.
Yeah.
The AIDS in Asia Commission.
I mean, I'm on a steering committee, so there are people that will run the programs, which is a lot of leadership training for NGOs and things like that. We oversee that whole thing, plus whatever advocacy that needs to be done at the high level, then we do. Like for instance, I was in Bangladesh recently, and part of that was on APLF work. So I went around. Thank you. I went around to see the government officials, including the chief advisor, health advisor, home advisor, all the people that, because they wanted to move forward on the harm reduction programs in Bangladesh. So I just went to talk about the Malaysian experience and all that sort of thing, and it kind of worked.
But do you see? I mean, in your observation, do you still see people taking you as a point of reference for HIV/AIDS in Malaysia?
Yeah, I have to keep reminding them that,
Right.
things come to me when it really should go to MAG, that sort of thing.
Right. So people still come to you as a point of reference.
Maybe less so. No, maybe less so. Because Adeeba is not unknown,
Yeah,
I mean, internationally she's very well known. She speaks at conferences and all that. So overseas, I think they know, what the situation is. Here, people get a little bit, they haven't been keeping tabs.
Yeah.
Or sometimes
It's funny,
they do.
isn't it?
Huh?
It's funny, isn't
I
it?
know.
The people are more aware of what's happening here than Malaysians are.
Malaysians,
Yeah.
like who's in the know, who's in the lead, and whatever. Right? But
And what we're doing.
I mean, because there's some no offense to you, but there's some people in the office who still think so. She's president.
In Star.
Yeah, I'm like, no. She's there's a new president, Oh, really?
2 years already.
You have to
No
interview
problem.
her. I said, I already did 2 years ago, like, what's wrong with you guys?
It's not like the paper doesn't carry stories.
It's-
Right? It's a bit weird. Yeah.
I guess if you're not doing
Yeah.
it regularly, you kind of lose track on that.
Right. I don't know. I mean, do you mind?
No, because
Yeah.
it doesn't worry me, and I think no, I don't at all. And as Marina said, I think internationally people seem to be more aware. For instance, we've just been invited to the Clinton initiative in Hong Kong.
Have you?
Yes,
Oh.
MAC, and it was addressed to me as president of MAC. So
Somebody
both the organization and and
So are you going?
Yes, of course.
Where's that?
In early December.
Early December. After that, he's coming here.
He's coming
supposed to
here.
come here.
Yeah. So I mean that sort of things makes up for it.
But I mean, do you think that MSC has taken not taken a back seat, but been slightly out of the news? I mean, in terms of like coming
Yeah,
out
we've
with
been-
strong comments, or is it because less people are making stupid comments about it?
It's no, I have to admit that we haven't been very vocal. I mean, I think, and that a lot of it had to do with the Malay word for it, the pergolakan within the organization in terms of, losing staff who were appropriate, who were in that position, who were able to respond to that kind of things quickly. I just often don't have the time or the strength to, like Marina has, the strength to respond very quickly, and she's much better at writing these things than I am. So from that point of view, yes.
But I think you also have to understand that during my time, all those sort of not coming from me, but some of the attacks were aimed at me not because I was president of NBC, I mean, there were other things.
Who your dad?
Yeah, that were, you know, I was kind of the substitute,
Right.
you know, so
Just bang whichever family.
yeah, I think there was also that element, you know, so yeah.
So, do the two of y'all complement each other? I mean, in terms of like, in work, are y'all like girlfriends or?
We see each other socially, I guess. Yeah.
Kids are in the same school, they were in the same class, so sometimes it helps when I don't know what the homework is.
Yeah.
Or that there's Mafti day today, or they're going on a trip.
go?
Or, no, I didn't.
Neither did I. We're both very slack moms.
Oh, okay. What would your wish be for the next year or so when it comes to HIV work in the country? What would you like to
My
see?
immediate wish is the last 2 days the team have been at Ministry of Health putting our proposals and budgets for next year's activities, which is going to be triple, quadruple. So my wish would be for MOH to give us all the money that we asked for. That's my immediate wish. Yeah. And that so that we'll be able to do the things we said we're going to do. The second wish is that our global fund proposal that we are about to embark on is successful.
You're going for it.
Yeah, but this time we're probably a bit more, because the deadline has been extended, not extended, postponed. So hopefully we're going to be better prepared.
Can you get me? I thought the last time we didn't get it because there wasn't enough government commitment.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
I don't know what the reason was, but hopefully this time. The only thing is whether Global Fund has the money to. They have committed to it, so they will have to have the money.
Would the economic slowdown or what they are expecting is going to happen, is that going to affect HIV work in Malaysia?
Yeah, of course. It's going to affect everything.
Funding,
In terms of
budgeting?
funding, in terms of donors, you know, corporates giving us funds.
Also indirectly in people's behavior. You know? If they are financially troubled, they get depressed, whatever, their behavior, they put themselves at risk. And you know, and we have to watch out for that. Like in the last economic crisis, okay, we weren't hit that much. But places like Indonesia, which had economic and political problems, I mean, you can see the rise in HIV
Immediately after 97.
because increase in drug use.